Hello everybody, I hope you are fine. This is Plato's concept of poetry as imitation or mimesis. Plato believed that the universe consisted of three separate parts or realms. The first realm is the realm of eternal ideas and eternal forms. By eternal, we mean permanent. It's the realm of absolute reality. So Plato believed that the idea of the thing is its origin or reality. It's permanent and unchangeable. The idea does not change. It's abstract, not concrete. It can't be approached by our five senses. We cannot see the idea. We cannot touch it. We cannot smell it. We cannot taste it. We can only know about the idea by our mind. Plato believed that the idea or the ideal form exists only in the world of philosophers, because a philosopher deals and contemplates with his mind, so that a philosopher is able to gain knowledge of ideas or absolute truth by means of contemplation, so that the philosopher is the best of human occupations. He is better than the historian and the poet. This is the first realm. It's the realm of eternal ideas and eternal forms. It's the realm of reality. The second realm is the material world or the concrete world in which we live. It's full of concrete objects around us everywhere that we can perceive by our five senses. The objects of this world are considered reflections or imitations or copies of the world of truth or ideas. The objects in our world are changeable. For example, if you have a wooden chair, which is an imitation of the idea of making a chair in the mind of the designer, so this wooden chair is changeable. It's not permanent as its idea. The third realm has to do the world of art. By art, Plato means poesy or literature, music, painting, and sculpture or engraving statues. These artistic works, whether a statue or a portrait or a piece of music or a poem, are considered imitations or copies or reflections. not of the world of ideas, but of the world of the concrete objects, or the second world. The second world is already an imitation of the world of ideas, which means that all kinds of arts, including poetry, music, painting, and sculpture, are imitations of an imitations twice removed from reality. Plato provided some examples. There is an example about a bed. The idea about the design of the bed belongs to the first world, while the wooden bed or the concrete bed belongs to the second world. If a painter paints this wooden bed and reproduces it in a painting, so the painted bed will belong to the world or realm of art, and it will be imitation of an imitation twice removed from reality. Another example is the sound produced by the musician by means of his musical instruments. He can represent the sounds of birds and the sound of storms or strong winds, so that according to Plato, in his philosophy of mimesis, the Greek term of imitation, the ideal form constitutes the concept or the idea about the form. For example, the idea of making a chair. Then the real chair or the wooden chair, the concrete chair that we use in our daily life, has to do with nature. It's the imitation of the ideal form. The representation of this chair in a work of art, such as a portrait, for example, this will be imitation of an imitation twice removed from reality, which means a copy of a copy, which is away from reality by 2 steps. So that the poet imitates the concrete objects of the material world, which are imitations to the absolute reality. In producing his imitation, the poet depends only on his senses. In imitating something changeable and temporal, which means it's not eternal. Plato compared the poet to a person carrying a mirror and turning this mirror around him. The mirror has only the reflection of things, not the reality of things. It produces changeable and passing images. Thus, the poet knows only the appearances of what he imitates, but not their reality. Plato believed that the poet or the artist is inferior to the maker and the user or the philosopher. The philosopher meditates or contemplates or thinks in order to give us the ideal form or the ideal design. The maker or the carpenter makes the thing, and the user, the one who uses this concrete object, knows better than the maker. The poet, on the other hand, only imitates these objects of the material world, and so he is far twice from reality. Moreover, the poet has a bad effect on the audience because he uses his senses in imitating these concrete objects. He deals emotionally with the appearances of things and not their reality. He appeals or he addresses to the senses and emotions of the audience, which are the inferior parts of the human faculties or human organs. Plato condemns poetry, which means announces his rejection of poetry because it depends on sense and emotions, not on the mind. Poetry feeds and waters the passion instead of drying them up. Thus, Plato condemns poetry as being inferior to all other human activities, including philosophy and history. All other human activities try to reach the truth, while philosophy reaches and deals with the first world or the world of truth or absolute reality. History is just one step away from the world of reality, while the world of poetry and other arts is twice removed from the realm of ideas or the realm of reality. So that the nature of poetry is mere imitation, so that it has no value. It's useless because it doesn't give reality or truth. Poetry is inferior to other human activities. The poet as an imitator shows the poet's lack of knowledge of the true nature and use of what he imitates. And poetry has to deal with the inferior parts of human faculties, including senses and emotions. So poetry strengthens and enhances the emotions instead of controlling them by reason. This is the end of our lecture for today. Thanks for watching and goodbye.